The mining ship Outback Explorer drifted silently in the vast expanse of space, its hull reflecting the distant light of a billion stars. Alexander Alex Blake, the ship's captain, leaned over the control panel, his rugged face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the monitors. He rubbed his stubbled chin thoughtfully, his piercing green eyes scanning the readouts. "Captain, we've picked up a distress signal," reported Samara, the ship's communications officer. Her voice was steady, but there was a spark of excitement in her dark eyes. "It's coming from an uncharted planet nearby." Alex straightened up, his interest piqued. "Patch it through, Sam." The message crackled to life, a distorted voice repeating the same phrase over and over. "Help. Blink drive. Critical. Help." The words sent a shiver down Alex's spine. The blink drive was a legendary piece of technology, rumored to enable instantaneous travel across the galaxy. Many had sought it, but none had ever returned. Alex's curiosity and sense of adventure were ignited. "Helmsman, set a course for the signal's origin," Alex ordered, his voice firm. "We're going in." "Are you sure, Captain?" asked Lars, the ship's chief engineer, his brow furrowed with concern. "We don't know what's out there." "We've come this far for a reason," Alex replied. "If there's even a chance we can find the blink drive, we have to take it." The Outback Explorer altered its course, thrusters firing as it sped toward the unknown planet. As they approached, the planet's surface came into view, a desolate wasteland dotted with the remnants of an ancient civilization. Towers of twisted metal and stone jutted out from the ground, remnants of a bygone era. The crew suited up and prepared for descent. Alex led the way, his heart pounding with anticipation. As they touched down, the airlock hissed open, and the crew stepped out onto the barren landscape. The air was thin, and the ground cracked under their boots. "Stay sharp, everyone," Alex cautioned, his hand resting on the grip of his plasma pistol. "We don't know what we're walking into." They moved cautiously toward the source of the signal, navigating through the labyrinth of ruins. The structures loomed above them, casting long shadows in the dim light. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the darkness. "Identify yourself," Alex demanded, his weapon drawn. The figure stepped into the light, revealing a humanoid form. Its metallic skin glinted, and its eyes glowed a soft blue. "I am the AI guardian of this facility," it said in a calm, measured tone. "You seek the blink drive." Alex lowered his weapon slightly, but remained on guard. "We do. Can you help us?" The AI nodded. "The blink drive lies within these ruins, but it is heavily guarded. Only those who prove their worth may claim it." "We're ready," Alex said, determination in his voice. "Tell us what we need to do." The AI led them deeper into the ruins, past intricate carvings and ancient machinery. They arrived at a massive door, covered in strange symbols. "Beyond this door lies your trial," the AI said. "You must navigate the labyrinth and face the guardians within." As the door creaked open, Alex glanced at his crew. "Stay close and watch each other's backs. We get through this together." The labyrinth was a maze of corridors and chambers, filled with traps and challenges. The crew moved carefully, solving puzzles and avoiding dangers. They encountered robotic sentinels that sprang to life, their eyes glowing red as they attacked. The crew fought back with precision, their training and teamwork evident in every move. As they progressed, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. He caught glimpses of movement in the shadows, but whenever he turned to look, there was nothing there. The tension mounted with each step they took. Finally, they reached the heart of the labyrinth. A vast chamber lay before them, its walls lined with ancient technology. In the center stood a pedestal, and on it rested a small, intricately designed device, the blink drive. "We made it," Samara whispered, awe in her voice. Before they could approach, a massive guardian robot emerged from the shadows, its weapons primed and ready. "Prove your worth," it intoned, its voice echoing through the chamber. Alex took a deep breath, stepping forward. "We don't back down," he said, his voice steady. "We fight." The battle was fierce. The Guardian was relentless, its attacks powerful and precise. But Alex and his crew fought with everything they had, their determination and courage driving them forward. As the Guardian prepared for a final, devastating attack, Alex saw an opening. With a decisive strike, he disabled the Guardian, sending it crashing to the ground. Breathing heavily, Alex approached the pedestal and picked up the blink drive. "We've got it," he said, a sense of triumph in his voice. The AI Guardian appeared once more. "You have proven your worth," it said. "The blink drive is yours. Use it wisely." The Outback Explorer crew gathered around the blink drive, now safely aboard their ship. The device pulsed with a soft blue light. Alex Blake, the ship's captain, studied the ancient technology, his mind racing with possibilities. "We need to understand how this works," Alex said, his voice steady but filled with urgency. "Lars, can you decipher the mechanisms?" Lars, the chief engineer, nodded. "It'll take time, but I'll crack it. This tech is like nothing we've ever seen before." As Lars began his work, the ship's sensors blared an alert. "Incoming transmission," Samara announced, her fingers dancing over the console. "It's from another ship nearby." On screen, Alex ordered, his eyes narrowing. The view screen flickered to life, revealing a rugged-looking man with a scar across his cheek. "This is Captain Dax of the Iron Will. We picked up your signal. Seems you found something valuable." Alex's grip tightened on the armrest. "We did. What's your interest, Dax?" Dax grinned, but there was no warmth in his eyes. "We're after the same thing. The blink drive. How about we join forces? It's a dangerous path ahead." Alex exchanged a glance with his crew. Trusting strangers in deep space was risky, but they had little choice. "Fine. Meet us at these coordinates." Minutes later, the Iron Will docked with the Outback Explorer. Dax and his team boarded, their expressions a mix of curiosity and wariness. Among them was a woman with sharp eyes and a confident stance. She stepped forward, extending a hand. "I'm Tessa, Dax's first mate," she said. "Looks like we're in this together." "Alex," he replied, shaking her hand firmly. "Let's get to work." Together, the crews delved into the mysteries of the blink drive. Tensions ran high, but the shared goal kept them focused. Alex couldn't shake a feeling of unease, sensing that Dax had ulterior motives. As they worked, the ship shuddered. "What was that?" Alex demanded. "Ships under attack," Samara shouted. "Unknown vessels, closing fast." "Battle stations," Alex barked. "Dax, get your people ready." The crew scrambled, manning the defenses. The view screen showed sleek, hostile ships bearing down on them, weapons blazing. The Outback Explorer rocked under the assault. "Shields at 60%, Lars reported, his voice tense. "We can't take much more of this." "We need to make a stand," Dax said, his tone grim. "Or we're done for." Alex nodded. "Launch countermeasures. Target their engines." The battle raged, the ship vibrating with every hit. Explosions lit up the void, the enemy relentless. But the combined efforts of both crews began to turn the tide. With precision shots, they disabled the enemy's engines, forcing them to retreat. "Status report," Alex called out. "Minor hull damage, but we're stable," Samara replied. "We drove them off." Alex sighed in relief, but his mind was still racing. "Dax, what's your take on this? Who were they?" Dax frowned, his scar twitching. "Raiders, likely after the same thing we are. This blink drive is attracting all kinds of trouble." "We need to be more vigilant," Alex said. "They'll be back." As the crews settled back into their work, the atmosphere aboard the Outback Explorer was tense but focused. Lars continued to decipher the blink drive, his progress slow but steady. Meanwhile, Alex and Dax strategized on how to protect their prize. In a rare moment of quiet, Alex found himself alone with Tessa. "What's your read on Dax?" he asked, his voice low. Tessa hesitated, then sighed. "He's driven, maybe too much so. This blink drive, it's all he talks about." "Be careful, Alex." "I will," Alex promised. "We need to trust each other, but we also need to be prepared for anything." Hours passed, and the ship hummed with activity. Suddenly, Lars' excited shout broke the monotony. "I've got it. I think I know how to activate the blink drive." The crews gathered, anticipation crackling in the air. Lars explained the complex procedure, his eyes shining with excitement. It's risky, but if we do this right, we can make our first jump. Do it, Alex said, his voice filled with determination. Lars worked swiftly, his hands deftly manipulating the ancient device. The blink drive began to hum, its light intensifying. Brace yourselves, Lars warned. The ship shuddered as the blink drive activated. Space around them twisted and blurred, a dizzying display of light and motion. The crew held their breath, hearts pounding. In an instant, the ship reappeared in a different sector of space. The crew cheered, the thrill of success electrifying the air. We did it, Alex said, a grin spreading across his face. The blink drive works. But the celebration was cut short by an urgent alert. Incoming transmission, Samara said, her voice tense. It's a distress signal, similar to the one we found. The Outback Explorer floated silently in its new sector of space, the vast emptiness around it, a stark contrast to the tension brewing within. Alex Blake, the captain, stood in the ship's command center, studying the incoming distress signal. The new message was eerily similar to the one that had led them to the blink drive, raising unsettling questions. Lars, any progress on stabilizing the blink drive? Alex asked, his voice tinged with urgency. Lars hunched over the device, nodded slowly. I've managed to enhance its stability, but the power requirements are immense. We can't afford another jump until we recharge the energy cells. Samara, the communications officer, interrupted. Captain, the distress signal is on a loop. It's coming from a nearby moon. Should we investigate? Alex considered their options. We can't ignore it. Dax, Tessa, you're with me. Lars, stay here and monitor the blink drive. Samara, keep the ship on high alert. The shuttle descended towards the moon, a desolate place bathed in an eerie twilight. As they approached the source of the signal, they found an ancient structure partially buried in the lunar soil. The architecture was reminiscent of the ruins where they had found the blink drive. Stay sharp, Alex said, his hand resting on his holstered plasma pistol. This could be a trap. Inside the structure, the air was thin and stale. The walls were adorned with cryptic symbols and worn engravings. As they ventured deeper, they found signs of recent activity footprints in the dust and remnants of campfires. Looks like we're not alone, Tessa observed, her voice a whisper. They followed the trail to a large chamber where a group of humanoid figures lay in disarray, their bodies pale and lifeless. At the center of the room stood another blink drive, larger and more complex than the one they had found. By the stars, Dax muttered, eyes wide with disbelief. 2 blink drives? This is beyond anything we imagined. Before they could react, a series of mechanical clicks echoed through the chamber. Alex spun around, his weapon drawn as robotic sentinels emerged from hidden alcoves, their eyes glowing a menacing red. Defensive positions, Alex shouted. The sentinels attacked with precision, their movements swift and deadly. Alex and his team fought back, their plasma bolts searing through the air. The battle was intense, the confined space amplifying every sound, every explosion. We need to disable them. Tessa called out, her back against a pillar as she fired at an approaching sentinel. Cover me! Alex ordered, charging towards a control panel on the far wall. Dax and Tessa provided suppressing fire as Alex reached the panel. His fingers flew over the controls, deciphering the alien script. With a final keystroke, the sentinels froze, their red eyes dimming. Nice work, Captain, Dax said, lowering his weapon. Now what? Alex turned to the blink drive. We need to secure this and get back to the ship. Lars will want to see this. As they began the process of transporting the blink drive, Tessa's gaze lingered on the lifeless bodies scattered around them. What happened to them? She asked, a mix of curiosity and dread in her voice. Whatever it wasn't friendly, Alex replied. Let's move quickly. Back on the Outback Explorer, Lars examined the new blink drive with a mixture of awe and caution. This is incredible, Alex. The design is more advanced, more refined, but we need to be careful. It's clear that these drives come with risks. As Lars worked, Alex gathered his crew. We've stumbled onto something much bigger than we anticipated. These blink drives are more than just relics. They're keys to something vast and powerful. But we need to understand the dangers involved. Dax stepped forward. We can't let this technology fall into the wrong hands. We need to secure it, study it, and decide how to proceed. Alex nodded. Agreed. We're not the only ones looking for these drives. As they deliberated, the ship's sensors blared an alarm. Incoming vessels, Samara reported, her voice tense. Multiple signatures, closing fast. All hands to battle stations, Alex commanded. This isn't over yet. The view screen displayed a fleet of sleek, menacing ships. They moved with purpose, their weapons primed and ready. The Outback Explorer shuddered as the first barrage hit, the shields flickering under the strain. Lars, we need those blink drives operational. Alex shouted over the din. I'm working on it. Lars responded, his voice strained with urgency. Just give me a few more minutes. The ship rocked under another volley, the lights flickering. We can't take much more of this, Samara warned. As the enemy ships closed in, Alex made a decision. Dax, Tessa, get to the blink drive. We're jumping out of here. With the enemy bearing down on them, Lars activated the blink drive. The ship vibrated violently as space twisted and folded around them. In a flash of light, they were gone, leaving their attackers behind. When the Outback Explorer reappeared in a new sector, the crew breathed a collective sigh of relief. But the reprieve was short-lived. Alex knew that their journey was far from over. They had 2 blink drives now, but they also had more questions and more enemies. The Outback Explorer floated serenely in the uncharted expanse, the crew recovering from the harrowing escape. The ship's corridors buzzed with activity as Alex Blake, the captain, convened an emergency meeting in the command center. Status report, Alex demanded, his tone brisk. Lars, still covered in grease from his work on the blink drives, looked up. Both blink drives are stable, but they draw immense power. We can't keep jumping without substantial downtime to recharge. Samara, the communications officer, interjected. We've detected no sign of pursuit, but that doesn't mean they won't find us eventually. Alex nodded, his mind racing. We need to decide our next move. We have 2 blink drives now, but we're still in the dark about their full potential and the risks. Dax, the captain of the Iron Will, leaned forward. We should secure a safe location to study them. Somewhere isolated, where we won't be disturbed. Tessa, his first mate, added, we also need to figure out who else is after these drives and why. It's clear we're dealing with powerful forces. Alex considered their words. Agreed. But first, we need to ensure our current position is secure. Samara, scan the area for any anomalies. Lars, continue your work on the drives. Dax, Tessa, help coordinate our defenses. The crew dispersed, each member focused on their tasks. Alex remained in the command center, his thoughts turning to the broader implications of their discoveries. The blink drives represented a leap forward in technology, but they also posed significant dangers. As Alex pondered their next steps, Samara's voice broke through the silence. Captain, I've found something. There's a small, habitable moon nearby. It could serve as a temporary base. Good work, Samara, Alex said. Prepare for descent. The Outback Explorer landed on the moon's surface, its engines hissing as they powered down. The crew quickly set up a perimeter, deploying sensors and defense turrets. Lars and his team transported the blink drives to a makeshift lab, eager to continue their research. Hours turned into days as the crew worked tirelessly. Tensions ran high, the constant threat of discovery looming over them. Yet amidst the stress, bonds deepened and trust grew. Alex found himself relying more on Dax and Tessa, their shared experiences forging a tentative alliance. One evening, as Alex and Tessa patrolled the perimeter, she spoke up. Do you ever wonder if we're doing the right thing? Alex glanced at her, surprised by the question. Every day. But we have to believe that our actions will lead to something better. Tessa nodded, her expression contemplative. I hope you're right, Alex. There's so much at stake. Their conversation was cut short by a sudden alert. Captain, we've detected an approaching vessel, Samara's voice crackled over the comm. Alex and Tessa rushed back to the command center. The view screen displayed a sleek, heavily armed ship closing in on their position. "Battle stations," Alex ordered. "Prepare to defend the base." As the enemy ship drew nearer, it became clear that this was no ordinary vessel. Its design was unfamiliar, its capabilities unknown. The tension in the command center was palpable as the crew prepared for a potential confrontation. Without warning, the enemy ship opened fire, its weapons unleashing a barrage of energy blasts. The Outback Explorer shuddered under the assault, its shields straining to hold.